Coming up tonight on This Week in Carrington Sports, Cardinal boys basketball hit the Region 2A tournament in Mayville, taking on the Grafton Spoilers. We've got highlights as Carrington tried to advance in the postseason. Plus, our winter recaps tonight. We will talk to girls basketball head coach Andy Braaten after a 20-win season for the second straight year. Plus, we'll talk to Carrington boys head coach Randy Hooey as the Cardinals look ahead to what could be a very exciting future. And we will talk to one Carrington senior who made the state tournament wearing Jamestown blue. All of that and more coming up tonight on This Week in Carrington Sports.
Hi, this is James at Bassett Motors. Let's test drive a new Chevrolet together. Stack up the savings with discounts and rebates combined with 0% financing for the lowest payments of the year. See us online at BassettMotors.com or call us 701-652-2955. Or better yet, stop in and see our wide selection of new and pre-owned vehicles.
Where our customers send their friends.
Cardinal boys basketball opened the postseason in Mayville on Monday night as the number 7 seed in the Region 2A tournament, taking on second-seeded Grafton.
Dribble handoff. It's McAloney. Crossover. Fired from the free throw line. A little strong. His own miss. Back up and in. We're tied. In roll game, and Threadgold lays it up in. Down the lane. Kick out. Hoggle. Back for Wolves. Right side. Down towards Threadgold. Lays it in again. And a three for Mering, banks in. McAloney down the lane, missed it too long. Rebound, put back in to Matt. We're tied again. Rebound, Mering. Here comes McAloney the other way. 3:30 of the first. Maddox McAloney flies down the court, puts it up and in. Holding, finds McAloney straight away against Rice. Back to Aberly on the right. He drives in, puts up a runner and takes it home. Saberly, McAloney, Mering, right side, Mering a three. He got it. Talon Mering a triple. The junior crosses up, dumps it down. Andrew Matt lays it in and draws the foul. A chance and a three-point play. Maddox wraparound feed. Now a trap and a kick out. Mering for three in the tie. Bang! Talon goes left. Oh, we got the lane and he lays it home. We're tied again. It's a three. Now crosses over, it's baseline, spins right, finds McAloney. He'll drive in, spin from the elbow and knock it down. Dump down, Threadgold will lay it up in. 5-point game, 37-32. Mering, step back, a three for Talon is good, 46-35. The layup by McAloney doesn't go. Rebound put Threadgold. He's got 8. Wolski on the baseline, spins down to Drew Matt. One dribble in, lays it home and draws the foul. Low-mowing. Dump down, Gold, holding, kicking, McAloney. Right side, Mering, a three in the air, and it's good. Taylor Mering with 18. Here's McAloney. Left side, Mering drives the lane, pops 16 from the baseline and hits. Wolski holding, finds McAloney, who got bumped, finishes and draws the foul. Chance at three-point play for the senior McAloney. McAloney a three, it's short. Rebound, Aberly. Back inside, finds Threadgold, 2. Alec Threadgold's basket. Talon drives right, gets down the lane, puts it up and in. Got 22. And Coach, you and I just said during the break, I don't know what more your team can do. Yeah, you can get a little more, a couple more baskets from Maddox. He went for it for 21, but you got a great game from Talon. You fought like crazy. I don't know what more your kids could do.
No, you're right. We fought really, really hard, and there is nothing to be ashamed of. Like I told the boys in the locker room, keep your heads high. When you come out of the locker room, you keep your heads up because you did everything that was asked of you, and you did it really well. You did it hard. I thought we were really effective tonight for the most part. They hit some really tough shots that, we had guys in the face, and, I thought we did a really good job. Shooters at times. Second half, maybe we got tired, I don't know. But, I still thought they hit some tough shots on us, and, I guess there's nothing more than I can ask for out of the boys. They gave their all every single day, and nothing changed today.
How much? I mean, we don't want to use it as an excuse, but how much does not really having Tate available tonight because of the foul situation affect you guys?
Yeah, it hurts us in the defensive end of the court for sure. I mean, second half, he had to play kind of tentative, and kept him on Rice. I thought, Tate was one of our best matchups for Rice, and so we had to keep him on him, but he had to play kind of tentative, and that hurt us, at times because, he couldn't give it his all the whole time. And, I thought we let Rice loose a couple times. But, at the end of the day, they started to pull away a little bit. We probably took some ill-advised shots when they were starting to make that little bit of a run. And, that's something that we got to just get better at. You don't get these situations every single day. And so, when you do get these situations, you got to learn from them. And I hope this was a good learning experience for our boys. And, it's our third straight year going on and out in the region tournament, and I told the guys, they looked at all the juniors, I said, I'm tired of this, and they are too, and next year I don't want to go 1-0, and I said I want to come back in this locker room victorious and happier than heck that we're coming back Tuesday and Thursday of the week. And I don't know, I kind of at a loss of words for some of it.
We'll talk more about Sunday night on This Week in Carrington Sports, but you've got year one of this build behind you now. This region's going to lose a lot of talented players. Grafton's not going to look anything like that next year. Four Winds isn't even here next year. Hillsboro's going to look different next year. Thompson's going to look different next year. Devils Lake's going to look different next year. You have a lot of pieces back next year. There is a chance to really take this thing forward next year.
Yeah, absolutely there is. We briefly talked about how, we got to get some off-season work in, and, and then like you said, the guys lose a lot. Hillsboro loses a ton too, and we just, we need to capitalize on all those, on all of that, and we got to get better ourselves so that we can capitalize on those things and, learn how to put teams away and stuff like that. And, like late in the first half, it kind of got a little tight there. Well, we took a couple of super quick shots. Well, we can't do that in these tight games. We got to come down. We got to be efficient. We got to keep scoring. And we were doing that early. We did a really nice job of that. We just got to keep putting that together. Same thing in the third quarter when they kind of put distance on themselves. Well, how many threes did we come down and go, no zero pass or one pass three? Those are low percentage shots, but we got to keep working through that stuff. I mean, guys that have every capability of being very, very good, and I have a lot of faith in this crew too. I mean, I love them all to death, and I think they're going to put the time in they need to put in so that next year hopefully we don't have this feeling.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you so much for letting us be a part of your program this year. This has been a lot of fun, and we'll do it again next year.
We appreciate everything you've done for us, BJ. Also. Thank you. Go Cardinals.
Cardinals conclude their 25-26 campaign, the first under Randy Hooey, with a 6-16 record, and will graduate Tate Wolski and Maddox McAloney in May.
When you're thinking about insurance, think of Bickett Insurance. Bickett Insurance, through our partnership with Auto Owners Insurance, can take care of your farm, home, auto, business, or life insurance needs. The agents at Bickett Insurance have over 115 years of insurance experience. We know how to design policies to protect the things important to you. Give Bickett Insurance a call today.
Better get Bickett. Bickett Insurance Agency. Better get Bickett. Bickett Insurance Agency.
Cardinal boys basketball just completed a first year under head coach Randy Hooey, and Coach Hooey's joining us now. First year, not really your first year around some of these guys, or any of these guys for that matter, but what was this year like for you as a head coach?
Yeah, it was totally different opportunity. You know, you got to do some of the things that I was used to doing. You know, kind of when I was a head coach before, and you know, doing some assistant stuff, you know, prior places, and kind of taking some of the stuff with Coach Otto as well. You know, and it was fun to have that kind of combination of things.
This is a year that, with the circumstances as they were, injuries from football, you're already one of the smallest Class A schools in the state. You're trying to build up a program. If it had gone like 23-24, nobody would have blamed a soul, and it didn't. You were only really mercy ruled once. That was on opening night against, at the time, the best team in the state. Your compete levels were really high this year.
Yeah, it was. You know, that's something I told the boys after the game last night. I said, you know, we won 6 games, which honestly was probably a little bit higher than I thought we were going to win this year. But at the same time, we were competitive in every game we played pretty much. And so, you know, it was a lot of good things to be proud of. You know, I thought our defense became a lot better this year. I thought we offensively, you know, we need to, you know, keep on improving our scoring abilities, you know, a lot of off-season work, whatever it is. And you know, if we can get that done, you know, we have a lot of promise in the future as well to keep building off of a lot of great things from this year.
That's kind of the difference from Class A to Class B basketball. Rory Ince has made a living being defense, defense, defense. You can do that in Class B. In Class A, there's enough scoring where you got to be able to score.
Yeah, you got to be able to do both. You know, I mean, how many times have I talked about you got to get in the 60s to win games? You know, and so you got to be able to score there. You know, our average was right around like 55, I think, this year, low 50s. But, you know, we got to be able to get another score, you know, to get us into that mid 60s. And, you know, we have a lot of potential for that. You know, it just, things didn't click all the time. And, you know, we were forced with some injuries early that, you know, we can't help. But, you know, it wasn't lack of effort from the boys.
The season on the whole, some of the accomplishments, you got the first ever region win in 3-class basketball. You got a game at the regional tournament where absolutely Grafton was freaked out at the half. There's no doubt about it. You guys were playing very well. They weren't shooting it the way they wanted to. So this was a step forward for the program.
Yeah, 100% it was. You know, we talked last night about we got our first region victory. You know, this is before the game. Let's go get our first region tournament victory. And, you know, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait another year to go get one of those. But, you know, we took a lot of step forwards, I thought, this year. You know, from the beginning of the season, the end of the season, you know, I thought we were a completely better team. You know, we never had a lack of effort, which is a huge testament to our kids. And, you know, I think they learned how to prepare more throughout the year, too, for games. You know, we were able to game plan a little bit more. And I look at last night in the Grafton game where that number 0, the McMillan kid, you know, he had a career night. And, you know, but a lot of that was because we were focusing so hard on doubling Lillimon that, you know, we left him open at times. And, you know, it just, but the, you know, the guy that's supposed to be guarding him was following the game plan. And so that was something that I was really proud of, that we were able to follow the game plan. You know, unfortunately, he stepped up and knocked down some shots, but that's just how that stuff goes.
A few guys that you cannot help but notice how much better they got throughout the year. Hayden Hoggle, Ewan Aberle, and Alec Threadgold just took a massive step. And he's got to be excited because he gets his big man partner next year in Drew Matt. But those 3 guys, huge steps forward.
Absolutely. You know, Ewan, you know, ended up coming off the bench quite a bit for us, you know, late in the year. And he played some big minutes for us. And, you know, he's the type of kid that, you know, he can score some, you know, pretty good defender. You know, I think next year he's going to become even a better defender than what he was this year. He's a strong, athletic kid. Ewan really is, and he loves basketball. You know, that's a great quality he has. You know, Hayden this year, I thought from day one to the last day, his defense was light years better than what it was to begin the season. And, you know, offensively, you know, I wish you'd shoot more. And, you know, how many kids you have to tell to shoot more, but, you know, Hayden's one of them. We got to have him shoot more. But, you know, I think that he'll take on a different role. You know, I mean, just being a sophomore, you know, he's still got 2 years left in him. And then, you know, talk about Alec. I mean, Alec took a huge step this year. He really was a leader all year for us. talk about a big guy that played 32 minutes most nights. I felt like in the Harvey game when we were able to get Drew in a little bit, that kept Alec fresh, toward late in the game, and that was huge. And next year, I just can't imagine having Drew on one side of the basket and Alec on the other side. And, the amount of rebounds and potential that we have coming forward next year with those guys.
It's the perfect segue into talking about next year. This region will not have 4 wins Minnewacan. This region will have Devil's Lake, but it will not be the same Devil's Lake. This region is going to lose 56 points per game between Lil Moen and Rice at Grafton. Hillsborough, Central Valley, this was maybe their last shot for a long time. Harvey's still getting used to Class A basketball. Mayport might be pretty good next year. And then there's your team. There are pieces here to compete right now next year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Mayport's going to be, probably the preseason favorite in our region, and they should be. They deserve that. But I feel that we're right after those teams, and I think we're going to fit somewhere in that 2-3 range. And we have the potential to finish in that 2-3 spot too. And it could be a really, really exciting, fun year. Last night it's the locker room talk's really difficult after you end your season. But we had the talk too. It wasn't just the last game for the seniors. It was the last game for Talon being a junior, Alec being a junior, Ewan being a junior, Hayden being a sophomore. And you just never know when that opportunity is going to be done. Like we talked about Justin Owen, when he finished his last game as a freshman, he didn't think his next game was going to be as a junior. And so, it's a last for a lot of kids. The seniors obviously don't get another shot at it again, but it's the last time those guys get to play as juniors. And, next year, we want to take that step forward. We want to be able to win a region game, and we want to go compete because, in the locker room after that first, the loss last night, we don't want that feeling next year. We want to have that feeling that we're going back Tuesday night to play in another game, and we're going to get another couple cracks at it, and hopefully a chance to get into a state qualifier or win the region, and try to make a state tournament.
The makeup of the roster is different next year in the sense that you asked a lot from Talon this year because Josh graduated.
Yeah.
You now have Adrian to be a point guard, and that probably puts Talon in a spot where he can be a lot more lethal next year.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought some of Talon's struggles this year were because he was playing out of position. That's no knock on him at all. He's a flat-out great shooter. I thought actually last thing in Grafton might have been his best offense performance of the year, which is a great leadway to the offseason, and going forward next year. And Adrian, I hope that he keeps progressing here. He's a really nice player. It's a pretty lethal 8th grader for ball handling, and his court vision is what separates him from a lot of different kids. And I think next year Adrian's gonna be ready to compete, and and I hope that he steps up and he's able to go give us a lot of varsity minutes next year.
We're all excited about next winter. It could be very fun all around this building with boys wrestling, girls basketball, and boys basketball. Randy Hooey joining us. Coach, congratulations on year 1. Let's go get him year 2.
All right, thanks, BJ. I appreciate all the coverage you give us.
Life is about moments, big or small, joyful or challenging. At Carrington Health Center, we believe everyone in our community deserves compassionate care close to home, so you can focus on enjoying those moments surrounded by the people you love. At our facility, we put the care in
physical therapy,
radiology,
the acute care clinic.
Another 20-win season for Carrington Cardinal girls basketball, and a very memorable one at that. And here to recap it with us is head coach Andy Braaten. And Coach, every year is so different. Every year presents different opportunities, different challenges. So how much fun was this year for you?
It was lots of fun. The kids worked hard every day. They gave us great attitude every day, and we couldn't be more proud of their efforts.
It's a painful memory, but that Valley City game, if you lose it from going down 54-44, it's okay, whatever. To make that run and to have it come from sophomores and freshmen, just an incredible comeback to put yourselves in a position where you could have won the game.
Yeah, and when you go look at the state tournament, who do we lose to last 2 games, the first place and the third place winners. So, We played with the best in the state all year long. We just didn't have real good timing on our last couple wins.
I know Aniston was beating herself up about those last couple of plays, but my goodness, she was so good in that state qualifier.
Oh, yeah. And they all gave great effort. Annie, helped us in that comeback, but kept us afloat throughout the rest of the game. So she had a great effort, and look forward to another great 2 years from Annie.
At the beginning of the year, this was kind of a new group. You had graduated 5 seniors. How would you assess sort of their growth through the season? You could see it, but you got to see it on the day-to-day.
There was a lot of growth. We started those 3 sophomores, and then Sienna and Harper, and they had to play a lot of minutes as we built some bench up, and we did get to that point where we felt pretty good about going to our bench, and we got some great minutes out of those 3 on the bench.
Maya Nice in particular off the bench, the driving layup she hits, the 3-pointer. It was the perfect encapsulation of a season where you could see the steps she had taken.
Sure, and she's going to be on the scouting report, and now spot shooter is going to be the scouting report. So she'll work. She'll put the time in to be better on the bounce, and hopefully she can be one of those lockdown defenders for us too.
Speaking of lockdown defenders, you've got Harper, but you also had Sienna, and as your one senior, you rely on her for leadership, and you rely on her to take on her role, and boy, did she take it on well.
She didn't have a lot of experience going in, so, every new game was a new adventure as far as her experience, and she did a great job for us defensively, offensively. She kind of held us together as a glue girl, and we're going to miss her.
So now you look forward to next year, and you replace Sienna perhaps with, one of the players you had on the bench this year in the lineup. You also might get Josie Coleman back from that injury, hopefully. There's some depth there now. I mean, a Jordan Coleman, a Sophie Spitzer that got minutes. There's some depth that maybe at the beginning of this year you didn't have.
Right, and that allows maybe to do a little more full court action, because we kind of settled in on our half court defense. That was kind of our strong suit throughout the year. We'd mix it in every once in a while, but and practices are going to be a little bit more competitive because kids are going to be playing for that playing time.
It's difficult to watch teams who you had beaten win in the state tournament. And you had beaten everybody except the 8 seed, and you hadn't played Watford City. That's why you hadn't beaten them. But going forward, I mean, the schedule that you guys put together is always a challenging one, and it will be again next year.
That's the marvelous thing about living in the Central City. You're 2 hours from all those games, and teams like to come here, and they look us up on their schedule because they know what we have, and it's just a great thing to have a good schedule like that. Builds competitive fire, and you have to show up every night to get the W.
I'm glad you bring up competitive fire because your sophomore girls have now lost in 4 straight postseasons to the eventual champion, if you count softball as well, even though that right now is a foregone conclusion a lot of times in Class B. The competitive fire that's going to bring out from them in volleyball and in basketball, how do you sort of absorb that and turn it into a positive?
Show up every day and go to work, put your best foot forward every day, and that's what really only you have control of. You don't have control of some other team, in their improvement and their, freshmen that are becoming sophomores, things like that. So what you have control is your work ethic, getting out for other sports, which we preach to them, and off-season work.
It's also going to sound a little odd because a lot of them will be juniors, but with so many teams losing so many seniors in Class A, you're kind of going to have an old basketball team next year in comparison to some teams, and that certainly helps.
Sure. Our experience next year will be one of our strong suits. And like you said, more depth coming in. So there's going to be fighting for a little bit more, get court action. But, what you want to do is build the team slowly and surely, and our schedule will do that. It'll challenge us.
I'll ask you the question that I'm sure you don't want to talk about, but you are 11 away from 500 wins. To do that potentially at some point next year, what would it mean to you? 500 wins, that's a lot of girls who have contributed to that.
Yeah, it means I've had a lot of good basketball players is what that means, PJ. and appreciate their efforts every day.
Well, Coach, congratulations. Another 20-win season. I think we're learning in the boys tournament right now, it's hard to win consistently, and you guys have done it back-to-back seasons. Congratulations.
Thanks, BJ. Appreciate all your time.
The fun is always on tap. I'm heading to Headlocks. Headlocks. Headlocks.
Head on over to Headlocks of Carrington for some great deals after the Cardinals game. If you and your friends come in sporting any Cardinals gear, you'll not only receive the friendliest service around, but also special discounts. Ask for more details and visit us on Facebook for all of our happenings.
The fun is always on tap. I'm heading to Headlocks. Headlocks. Headlocks.
Headlocks, Carrington, North Dakota.
Jamestown Blue Jay hockey made the state tournament for the first time in 3 years this season, and a big part of that, Carrington senior Max Whitman. Max, first off, congratulations. What a fantastic achievement for you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
We call the hockey team the Jamestown Blue Jays, but it's really a whole bunch of schools. It's Jamestown, it's Carrington, it's Valley City. What's it like bringing hockey players from all these different towns together to be on a team?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, you get these connections, friends for a lifetime, I guess, from all over the place. I mean, not just Jamestown. We got Valley City. Some of my best friends are from there too, so.
And it probably made it kind of cool for you guys to watch the Olympic hockey team, because they're coming from all over the place to come together and win a gold medal.
Yeah, it was actually pretty funny. We were like on the way to regionals. We were on the way to Bismarck when the women were playing. So then right when we sat down in Olive Garden, that's when they scored the overtime winner. So that was pretty awesome.
That is pretty cool. Now, Max had 3 goals on the season, and we all know Max is a nice guy. He only had 6 penalty minutes this year. What was the season like for you guys? Did you expect right out of the gates, hey, we can make it to the state tournament?
Obviously, that's always been the goal. We're missing a lot of key pieces that we had like the last couple years, but I mean, we have a great coach and we have a great system, and we played our system well, and it's kind of just how we roll.
How much of a pick-me-up was it to get Brady back from his football injury?
Oh, it was huge. He's a really big contributor on the team. He scores a lot of goals, has a lot of great plays that he makes. And he broke his foot in the second or third game of the football season, something like that. So it was really nice to get him back in time for hockey.
So one of the things just following you guys from afar that was very noticeable is you were a defense first team, and on the penalty kill, aside from the state tournament, we're not going to talk about that at all.
Brutal.
Your penalty kill up to that point was fantastic. What kind of went into that?
Oh, I mean, you got to kind of just hunker down, block shots, make sure you don't be running around chasing the puck, make sure stay tight. And then, our coach talks a lot about holding the blue line. So when we're able to do that and clog up the middle of the ice, it's even hard for teams to get in our zone when they're on the power play. So
you guys played Minot United 3 times this year. They are the perennial #1 guy in the West. You beat them twice, including at the state tournament. How special were those wins?
Oh, I mean, that first one at home, that was always awesome. That's my first time beating Minot as a high school hockey player. And then beating them at the state tournament to survive another day and send them home, that was amazing.
And that was kind of a wild hockey game.
Oh, yeah. We outshot them like 26-24 or something and scored 2 more goals than them. So that really was just the difference.
So you guys get to that state qualifying game, and you had not scored a goal on Mandan this year. Their goalie had been perfect against you. And you come right out, and the avalanche starts immediately. How nice was that for you guys?
Oh, that felt so good, because every game of the year, it felt like we were dominating them. We were out shooting them every game by a ton. Just couldn't find a way to bury. And then in the regionals, I don't know, we scored like 7 or something. I don't know. I think it was just a big part, getting one early, throw the goalie off his game, don't let him get his confidence up. And just kind of a landslide from there.
What is the Jamestown hockey community like?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, the locker room was great this year. Really tight-knit group of guys. I mean, the community is always really great. They put together a few suppers for us this year before regionals, before state, before the last home game. They got us gift bags and stuff with a bunch of snacks. They're awesome.
What was the state tournament experience like? You guys had a lead in that opening round against Red River. They were an awfully good team, obviously, getting to the state championship game and then winning a game and going to overtime in the consolation final. What was that whole experience in that weekend like?
Oh, it was amazing. Especially just being able to spend another week with that group of guys. I mean, that's the most important part of it all. But playing in that tournament on that stage, that was really special.
And now you're ready for baseball, am I right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Max, congratulations on a great hockey season.
Thank you.
Nothing has embodied the American spirit like the family farmer. Year after year, they continue to work the land and plant their crops. Through droughts, floods, and uncertain markets, they keep that spirit alive with another crop harvested for the next generation. And for that, we tip our hats to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
In Carrington, see Randy Hooey.
With the show on hiatus next week, the upcoming schedule looks this way for Carrington athletes. On Friday, April Hogarth begins her second season as the track and field head coach there at the Mike Grand Invite in Grand Forks. Then a week from Friday, March 27th, it all begins for Brady Smith and Cardinal softball as they take on Mayport CG and Hillsborough Central Valley in Jamestown. If the weather is bad, it will be moved inside the bubble, and coverage begins at 8:45 a.m. on KDAK The Cardinal and on YouTube. And the day after that, Saturday, March 28th, track and field hit the North Dakota State University indoor meet. And we will have recaps and highlights of that in 2 weeks on the next edition of This Week in Carrington Sports.